Okay, everyone, are you ready? I am going to call the meeting to order. It got quiet here in a hurry. All rise for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everyone. It's very cold out there tonight again. The first thing on the agenda is the homeowners associations. Is there anyone here in the room or online from Promontory Point? Lori Glicksman. Deerwood Estates, Joanne Mata. Are you here in the room or on? Nope, not in the room. Online. What about Woodbine Craig Smith? Going once, going twice. If any of you are here, speak up. Otherwise, we're going to move into public comment. Is there any public comment from anyone in the room? Benjamin.
Hi, my name is Patrick Matthew. I'm from 4369 Oakleaf Lane. And I'm here on behalf of the Oakleaf and Blackhawk Homeowners Association. It was our understanding that during the last meeting that the owners of 4359 Illinois 22 submitted some updated applications for their plans, and we just want to know what the status of that was.
Who's got that?
They haven't submitted the complete application yet, so as soon as they will, the whole process will initiate with the notification, and we'll send something out to you or somebody to help with everybody else there.
All right, so it's still incomplete even though they resubmitted.
Yeah, there wasn't, some of the materials weren't adequate or whatever, so.
Okay.
Who's handling that from a planner standpoint?
Amanda.
Is Amanda on the line?
The director of the department.
Yeah.
All right. Any other comments in the room? No? Anybody have a comment online? I don't think we have any of the public safety folks here tonight. So that moves us along to the consent agenda. There's quite a few items on here, and we'll see how this goes, right? You have the approval of the November 2023 bill warrant. We have approval of the executive session meeting minutes from November 16th, approval of the regular board meeting minutes November 28th, then approval of the executive session meeting minutes from the November 28th meeting as well, approval of the special board meeting minutes for the December 2nd special meeting, and then the executive session meeting minutes from that same special meeting. We have approval of only of the village board meeting dates and the village holidays. We needed to remove those other items because we don't establish those schedules. And then
The planning commission, those
correct, yeah. And it got slipped into the agenda, and I asked the question, and Vic gave a clarification. It should not be there. They clearly set those schedules. Yeah. Approval of an ordinance adopting a tax levy for the Village of Long Grove Special Service Area, SSA number 2, Long Grove Commons, northwest corner of Route 22 and Old McHenry Road. Approval of an ordinance adopting the tax levy for the Village of Long Grove Special Service Area, SSA number 3, that's the Downtown Historic Business District, for the promotion of tourism and economic development activities. And then we have approval and ordinance adopting the tax levy for the Village of Long Grove Special Service Area, SSA number 4, Illinois 83 Properties Deep Well Water System, that would be Sunset Grove. Approval and ordinance adopting the tax levy for the Village of Long Grove Special Service Area, SSA number 6, Downtown Long Grove, Old McHenry Road Public Water. So, are there any concerns or questions, or does somebody want to make a motion to approve?
I would just make one comment. In terms of all the SSAs, there's nothing materially different from last year.
Okay, moved by Trustee O'Reilly. Second by Trustee O'Connor. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Reilly?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor? Aye. Trustee Borowski?
Aye.
Trustee Jamil?
Aye.
Trustee Kritzmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee Panucci?
Aye. Okay, motion carried. The next item on the agenda is the village planner's report. Is Amanda here by any
She was
chance?
hoping to, but she had some family issues, and I could, if you want me to.
Yeah, please do.
I put together a short planners report, just giving the status of the PCZBA and the upcoming meetings there, as well as the Architectural Commission there. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer now, or you can email me or call me tomorrow, whatever.
Any questions? No? All right. Next item on the agenda is the village engineers report.
Skip one,
Oh, did I skip one?
unless I'm out of it.
Village planners report?
Number six.
So no, we're going, sorry, I skipped the most important one. Yeah. So, and I wanted to ask a question. Do I have a presentation that I'm supposed to present on that one? Do you have something you want to present, or,
Planning overview might be,
Yeah, they're gonna overview, and I think some of your partners outside might have something on Zoom.
do they have something they want to share? Okay, so here's what it is. This is the concept presentation, for the Quick Trip, and a discussion to refer it to the PCCBA.
Yeah, so I did email, you might look at 17B. That looks like a,
Oh, you mean, trying to, yeah, so I have this problem of sharing my screen, which gets really fun.
Do your consultants that are on Zoom, do they also have these materials? It's okay if they don't, I'm just curious, because I don't know if they're planning to be part of your presentation, or if you're gonna.
They'll be a part of it.
Can you help me, when I do this, it's gonna disconnect it, let me go find it.
All right, I'll be quiet.
What did you wanna do? I should have prepared for this, instead I was messing with phone cables.
You said 17B, as
Yeah.
in boy?
17A is the site plan, and 17B is the packet of,
Quick Trip, history sort of thing.
17B is what looks like a presentation.
But that's what they can probably do. I think that the site plan would probably be the most, beyond to put on the screen, because he's gonna give the presentation of what's on there.
Sorry, I think people.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It may be just me, I think people value visual.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just, hold on, let me get,
If that's impossible, then it is.
let me dig it out. Moving like really slow. When did that get put up there? It wasn't on the weekend, was it there?
Did you put it in the radar?
Yeah, Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday.
Oops.
No, we didn't receive it until after the.
When was it put up, I'm sorry?
Maybe it was Friday, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, it came in late.
It's Sunday.
Maybe it was Sunday.
Was it up there on Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right,
right.
I sent an email to him Friday saying we haven't received it yet, and then we got it on Sunday.
Yeah.
You didn't send it out till Monday, though.
Really?
I've requested, one of our employees, Andrew Smith, to present on Zoom.
All right, so A is one of them, right? That's the site plan?
that's actually in 17B, I think, so.
So go to 17B?
That might be their
Will you want him to
PowerPoint.
have access then to the screen and just present there?
If he's able to.
Okay.
The whole PowerPoint is this thing right here? Okay.
Yeah.
So now, but it's a PDF though, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll figure it out, so, and then, all right, we'll make this work. All right, so make sure I get connected again.
It's on the right one, so just give it a second.
And then I'll share my screen. Go back to Zoom. Thanks, everyone, for the patience as we leverage our technology.
Thanks for persisting with the technology.
Now, let's see, where's share over here? It's over,
Just have to,
It should be the green.
yep, there we go.
Which one do you want, Bill, to start with?
B has both, that one right there, yep.
Oh, it has both?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about.
Page from D.
Yeah, so it'll have the updated site plan as well as the one that we, originally started with, so we can show.
I didn't get it.
All right, where did it go? All right. Try again. There we go. I was just trying to make it larger. Is that enough? Here we go. Is that, can you see that? Is that good? Is that good?
Real good. Look at it.
There we go. All right.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate everybody. I know that the, PDF isn't the best version, that was the only way to get it sent through, so I apologize.
No worries.
I'm
On,
sorry, what's your name?
my name is Skylar Evans.
Thank you.
I'm the, real estate project manager working on this one. And then we have a couple consultants, present with us. We have Doug House, who is our, liaison with IDOT. Nick Tatikas, who is our land use attorney. And then online, we have Andrew Smith, who's with Quick Trip, the real estate manager. Jeremy Foreman, he will be speaking on, the additional property, the surplus property and the tenants, that we would be looking at, placing in the surplus property. We also have Darla Holman, who is our civil engineer, and, Louis Abona, who is our traffic consultant. And they can answer any additional questions afterwards if you guys have anything specific for them.
Perfect.
So just a little bit about Quick Trip. So we started in 1958. We're still owned and operated by the family, private company. So that means that, we don't have shareholders to, be held accountable to. The employees are the shareholders, so we work really hard for ourselves as well as the company. Sorry, I know we're short on time. Quick Trip's a great company to work for. We donate about 5% of our profits annually to nonprofits and local charities. A couple of the big ones that we work with are Bulls of Honor, and we also have we're also a nationally recognized safe place.
One question.
Yeah.
Can you go to page 3, please? There you go.
We're a nationally recognized safe place, so with any youth that come into any of our locations nationwide, they are met with trained employees that work local law enforcement. If anybody has any questions, they give Quick Trip a call. You get somebody in Oklahoma. All those individuals are trained to work with local law enforcement to make sure that the youth are taken care of as well. If you want to go to the next slide,
Can I
please.
ask you a question on that? Sorry, what does that mean that they're taken care of? Like, what's an example of a youth walking in, and what kind of service would we provide? Because
Right.
we don't have local law enforcement.
Okay, yeah. So what we would do is we would get with county. So National Safe Place has centers set up across the country,
Okay.
so that we would get in contact with them, and then they would give us directions on how to engage with law enforcement, whether it's county or state, to make sure that the youth, which is typically 18 and under the age of 18, in most states, is secured, that they are in a safe location until the National Safe Place representative or local law enforcement get there.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
We'll explore that more down the road, I'm sure. Thank you.
So Quick Trip's really great at security of our properties. We have 360-degree coverage. We don't have the traditional cameras that you would typically see at your gas stations where the footage is grainy. We can actually do facial recognition. We can help state and local law enforcement with anything if needed. Go to the next slide. This is an overview of our lot coverage from our security cameras. So it goes all the way out into our canopies and out to the curb line. Fresh food offers, so you can scroll the next 2 slides. So the food that we offer within Quick Trip, right there is good, no one misses long
A
road.
whole lot of food today.
Yeah.
It was blank.
So, Quick Trip, we produce our own food. We do our own food. We don't have a third-party company come in, so everything is taken care of within house, which means that we can make sure that the quality control is there as well as customer service.
I didn't eat dinner, you know that, so.
Continue on. So we'll get into the specifics of our development here in Long Grove. So this is the updated development plan. As you can see, we do have quite a bit on here. starting with the Quick Trip location there on the frontage road, I know that there was gonna be some questions about, probably sidewalks. And we would be adding the sidewalk along the entire frontage of the development, not just the Quick Trip itself, but all the way up into, meeting with the, sidewalk in front of Sunset Foods.
So can I just ask a question? Is the board clear on, over here would be Sunset Foods. This is Route 53 as it goes east, and then if you make a left, you're coming up, towards Sunset. If you go right, then you're going towards Arlington Heights Road. So, I'll let you explain the rest. I just want to make sure that everyone knew Harbor Chase, or whatever the name of it is now. Is it still Harbor Chase? What is the name of it?
It's changing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, so it's right here.
Yeah.
It's right here. So if that helps orientate everyone.
Which means that if this goes through, we need to have a lovely conversation with the Wedgewood people that are just a little bit on the top right of there, and continue sidewalk to the corner of Arlington Heights.
Yeah,
And then that will connect with other sidewalk we're paying for to go down Arlington Heights.
right. Yeah, so you were just talking about the sidewalks here. I don't want to steal your presentation, but
You're fine.
I just wanted to make sure, I wanted to orientate everyone, so they understood where this was.
Yeah, that's great, thank you, I appreciate that, yeah. So, starting with so we would be adding the sidewalk in front of the entire development. We would also be adding in the public improvements, requested in the IDOT. Some of the ones we've addressed here, I'm sure that everybody here has been able to review the letter from IDOT, or at least, taking a look at it. The first paragraph,
What's the letter from
Does everyone have it?
no,
Yeah.
okay.
First time I'm
Yeah.
Okay, all right, perfect,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have
Okay.
not seen anything from IDOT.
Okay, great, so we're
No,
working
I don't
with
think
IDOT.
so. Yeah.
We're working with IDOT, we've received some comments back that have laid the foundation for, these requests, so they request an additional through lane on 83 with the right turn in. And Jeff sat in that meeting with us with IDOT. So we also added the, left turn in off 83, coming into our site, going from the north to the south.
Oh, here?
Yep, right there, so that was one that was requested there, the left turn lane in. We also added, the left turn lane out of our site, or the right turn lane out of our site going on to, 83,
Okay.
with the additional through lane. And then, also, one of the things that we, would be doing is adding a sidewalk on the northeastern side, near the hotel there. And speaking of the hotel,
There is no hotel though, right? What are you talking about?
So on the overall development plan, if we go from the Quick Trip, directly behind the Quick Trip to the northeast, we show a warehouse facility here.
Right here? Which one? This one? This one?
So we show a warehouse facility, we're not necessarily married to the idea, this is just something as a concept plan, that we're showing. To the left of that is a hotel that we are showing, below the hotel is a, car wash that is Quick Trip operated and owned. And then to the right of that, it's shown as a building currently. It would be a surplus lot at this moment. We would landscape it until we found a tenant that would be suitable there.
The cursor's on the car wash, right?
No,
No,
so the
car wash
cursor-
is right here.
The car wash is up there, and
That's
what's between the pumps and the car wash?
So that right there,
Is that what you?
yes, yeah, so it's shown as a building right now, but it'll be a surplus lot at this point that we landscape and make sure that it looks really nice up until we find a tenant for it. Yeah, so, and then to the right of the Quick Trip development, is the detention system. We would be developing that detention system for the entire development, not just for the Quick Trip property, but everybody would be able to use that detention system.
All right, so this is, assuming IDOT grants access and egress here, right? And right now, the letter that you're referencing, which I did see, a while ago, that sounded very positive at the state. was gonna do this, right? Which is a pretty big deal.
I'm sorry.
Are those protected left turns there, meaning with an arrow? The left turn in and the left turn out?
I'm not quite sure. Louis, our traffic consultant, would be able to, speak a little bit more clearly on, if that'd be protected or not.
I would think
that would have to be left on arrow only because of the curve in Route
Right, yeah.
And there's already a left going 83 to 53.
Yes, but that's different than what this is proposing.
No, I understand, but there's already a whole signal there.
Yeah.
Can I say something also? Out of all, not that this is the answer necessarily, but out of all of our properties in our TIF district, this should be our top priority to get, a compatible thing in, this property.
That tip ends in 33, is that right? 31, yeah. I can't even believe, can you say 2031?
Closer to town.
Yeah, I know. All right, keep going, what are we missing?
So, and then you can go to the next slide. So the next slide will show kind of what we originally started with here, what our proposal originally was, to IDOT. So we've made some improvements here, making sure that we added the additional through lane on 83, and which would connect all the way through the intersection, as well as the additional lane out of our site. Right here, it doesn't show it, but on the site plan, we showed that right turnout on Illinois 53 going,
Over here.
towards Arlington Heights,
Oh, this way.
coming from 53, down there, taking that right-hand turn out. We did show that on the previous slide, so we would be doing that as well.
You would be putting a right turn lane, is what you're saying, isn't?
There already is one.
There is one, yeah.
Is there one? So
Yeah.
I guess we would,
Yeah, right there, that coming from 53 going north, there's
Right.
there's 3 lanes. Two go north on 83 and one goes south on 83.
okay. I apologize.
Okay,
Just real quick, they're widening it out, so the right turn lane will become a through lane into Quick Trip, so they've got to put a new right turn lane in.
also there'll be a new one, okay.
Gotcha, okay, so there'll be 4, so there'll be a direct through and then another right. Okay,
Sorry.
thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. You can go to the next slide. So this is our store design. I threw this in here so that, everybody could see what, Quick Trip looks like. So this would be from Illinois 83, directly looking right at the entrance of Quick Trip. Go down the next slide.
Looking roughly east.
Yes. And this is a perspective, this is, more to spec on what we would be, having here in Long Grove. We have a couple different models, and this is the one that would be here. Next slide. Building elevations, I know that this doesn't necessarily match the architecture, that you guys are looking for currently. We did look at the Sunset Boots development, and we would be doing our best to match what we can within that development as far as, the appearance with the Saxstone, and the color schemes. We'd be doing our best to match that. So we make sure that we're cohesive within the community. We don't want to be a sore thumb sticking out,
So your branding is that red. Are you saying that you would consider changing that red?
Not changing the red, no, but the dark tones of the building, we would be doing everything we can within what our company is able to do to match the other developments.
Okay, thank you.
And then next we have our canopy perspectives. So this is what our canopies look like. This one here is 8 bays with 16 ceiling positions. Go down to the next slide. These are the elevations. This is our diesel canopy. This would be, it's 2 bays with a auto diesel portion of it. So it would be able to accommodate box trucks, semis, and then we would also have, be able to accommodate for, your regular everyday diesel vehicles.
And where is that on the site plan?
So it's at the very, it's directly behind the Quick Trip, so it's kind of hidden.
So it's behind, okay,
Yes, so it's hidden behind the building and also behind the surplus lot there.
got it.
Well, either way,
That
they're
little
both the
thing that-
same, right here,
Yeah, that thing, okay.
Buildings on it.
yeah.
So just to check my understanding, it's two high-flow diesel pumps for semis, basically?
Yes.
And one auto nozzle?
On that backside, there are auto diesels. The front canopy also has, a diesel pump, two diesel pumps on it, but that's just it kind of keeps them separated. So people with like longer trailers, they can go to the backside.
Okay.
And that's turning, because like the diesel around here, you get the landscapers pulling trailers.
Yeah, so the landscape, generally, we have our landscapers pull on the backside with our truckers.
And that turn works, okay.
And it generally keeps them from intermingling and picking up like two pumps.
Yeah, I was just, the turn between your TBD building and,
Yep.
Skylar, could you show the route that a semi-truck would take?
Yeah, so if you go to the overview, sorry, I should have covered this prior. So we would, a truck would be able to come in, we would try to direct them, we would have signs posting that they would come in over to the north of the surplus lot.
Over here?
Next entrance,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
so it would be coming north of the surplus lot, coming around the surplus lot and looping in, and then being able to come out the light.
Oh, I see, like this?
And then out the main entrance?
And then out
Kinda like this,
the
okay.
light, that way it's protected, it makes sure that there's enough stacking room there, and it protects passenger vehicles as well.
So they can only go in when they're driving northward?
They would be able to turn in,
Gonna stop in the middle of the road?
yeah, so they would be able to take a left at the light there as well, but we would try to direct all the truck traffic to that northernmost entrance.
like, can you get to that?
But you can't make a left here.
From southbound 83.
Southbound 83, we cannot.
Okay, so it's a right turn only into there.
It's a full access, but
It's a full access, but
it
it's
is, yeah.
it's not gonna have.
Ideally, they would go in the second entrance and come out the main entrance, clockwise motion?
Yes, sir.
We know people don't read signs.
Yeah.
That's a long road.
Skylar?
Read it long road.
He knows
Real
exactly
quick,
that.
are you saying they could come in this way, or they won't be able to?
Drive for it.
They would be able to make that left turn in, they would be able to. We can't prevent a semi-truck driver from making whatever move they decide to make, right?
They can do it, but they're not gonna get a light, they're not gonna get an arrow.
Like, we just won't, we're just not going to direct them through that.
It'd be like somebody turning left from Old McHenry Road here, they're just gonna.
Well, there won't
Somebody like hitting a bridge?
Left turn arrow?
Yeah.
There'll be a left turn now.
say they won't get a light or an arrow?
They'll get an arrow, and he just said there'll be a left turn arrow there.
I will defer, Louis can speak to the traffic stuff, that way I don't say anything, that's not correct.
I have two more diesel questions, if I could.
Okay, yeah.
One is, does Quick Trip offer pure diesel instead of a diesel, auto diesel blend?
I think everything that we do right now is biodiesel. I can get you a better answer after this, but.
And then, your neighbors behind that development,
Yes.
so when we have semi-trucks going through there, not only are they potentially loud, but they're potentially emitting diesel exhaust relatively close to those neighbors. So what can you do about that?
So that's the reason why we have this development plan set up the way it is we have the least visited uses at the back closest to the neighborhood, to make sure that there's enough buffer there, that whatever additional noise is also being stopped by additional buildings behind our development, behind the Quick Trip itself.
And I'm referring to diesel trucks specifically.
Yes, sir.
Because they not only are louder, but they're emitting more exhaust than a regular automobile.
Is there, and I can get you we have a very good EPA, study that we have done on our, diesel, offer, and I can for sure get that over to you for our environmental stuff.
That'd be great.
Might as well ask, so are you expecting a lot of semi-trucks, or is this more for box trucks and kinds of things?
We're not, obviously with two diesel bays, it's not.
Yeah, you're not
It's not our main,
Okay.
source here. It's something that we're offering because we see that there's a need for it, for a diesel offer, but it's not gonna be something that we base our entire business off
Okay,
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, the one with the mobile at the corner gets a lot of landscape stuff.
okay,
The Michelle doesn't offer diesel.
okay.
I drive a diesel, so I.
Do you? So,
I do. By the way, someone near and dear to me would love it if that car wash actually fit a Sprinter van.
I can check and see. I will get you more information on that.
I don't know if that has to be a requirement, though, just for the
No,
record.
no, I don't know, it's not a requirement.
It would just be.
But it definitely doesn't happen if you don't ask.
Is there any electric charging stations?
Currently, at this point, we do not have a plan for electric charging stations.
May I ask why? Or why not?
Yeah, so, right now, we are experimenting and we are doing, market analysis on our electric chargers in another market. At this point in time, we have found that, as we're continuing to experiment there, that the charging stations, even though they say that they do a full charge within 20 minutes, they don't. It takes like 40 minutes. And a 40-minute time frame in a business model such as ours does not really make a lot of business sense. But we are working on it, and by the time that this development comes up, there may be some additional, new upgrades in electrical vehicle charging stuff that we would be more in tune with.
If you indeed develop a hotel, would you build the infrastructure for that?
And that's something that we can do. We can absolutely run the conduit into one of the business
Tenants.
Yeah, one of the tenants here that would make more business sense for that location, such as the hotel. Since people are staying overnight, it would make sense for them to be able to charge.
I guess the question would be is whether or not the infrastructure would be put there so that tenants could put those in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, along with the infrastructure, we would be setting up the development for the infrastructure there, so that, whenever it's more marketable for the tenants that come in.
Was I reading, or did I hear something that there was, one of the gas station chains was, basically buying, these gas stations, and the reason they were doing that was the thought was that in the future, they could convert them to EV charging centers. So I don't know if that's a plan or thought that you have as well.
It's not right now.
Okay. But that in the future, if EV became very dominant, that they could actually convert them to charging centers.
So, as a business, we obviously would have to transition if we want to stay viable. So that's, I'm sure that EV is more in our future somewhere down the line.
Okay. Go ahead.
The profits really don't, correct me if I'm wrong, the profits don't come from gasoline or diesel. Come from the food and the soda pop, snacks, beer.
Yeah,
the
so,
retail.
the way Quick Trip works is we're about 50/50 on profitability. So about half of our profits come from food, half of it from gas and diesel together. Our food offer and our customer service are top notch. It's one of the things that we've really focused on as a company over the last 10 years, is making sure that we have a really good food offer. So you can come in, we make our sandwiches fresh, so they're made every day. We do grab and go food items. We also have made to order. You can come in, you can order breakfast food, you can get a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich if you wanted to, that'll be made fresh right there for you.
Can I ask a couple other questions while we're just asking questions?
Yeah.
So, all right, hours of operation, how are you handling the lighting? Is it gonna be a 24-hour operation, or is it gonna be, whatever, just 12 hours, 14 hours a day, whatever is, what do you think?
Yeah,
Can
so.
we go to the next page when he talks about the lighting, please?
This one?
Oh, no,
Keep going.
the pretty one.
Pretty one?
This wasn't the next page, it's just my next one.
Hold
Is
on.
it the last one?
Where you get a picture of pizza again.
Yeah, so as you continue to go down, so this is, currently, I think everybody's aware, this is currently what it looks like. Go down a little bit further.
Not that one.
Keep going. It'll be the last slide, I think, is
Is it
the
the
one that
last
you're
one?
talking about.
That one?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Maybe talk about lighting and so forth, with that as a backdrop, maybe.
Absolutely, yeah. So, lighting, obviously, we would fit within the code of the village for our lighting requirements. be a little bit more specific, our lighting, we angle our lighting down. We also have shield covers that we use over our lighting to make sure that the lighting doesn't spill over. Along with additional, with the landscaping that we would be adding, we would be making sure, that our lighting doesn't spill over into the property behind us or, across the street. And then, so fitting
The
within.
big, the big concern would be the backside, because that's residential, and that open right there where your cursor just was, Bill, that's a church. So the big would be more of, like, lighting away from that
Yeah.
residential strip. What hits 83 is far less interesting.
Yeah, so actually, for this site plan, all of our lighting would be facing towards 83. The lighting that we would have in the back would be along the landscape there, and it would be facing towards the back of the building. Back of our building doesn't have lighting on it, so it wouldn't be casting out. And then, the trees behind the entire development are fairly thick, so they would be also adding additional, buffer in there. But we make sure that our lighting doesn't spill over. Like I said previously, we want to be an addition to the community, not a sore thumb.
Yeah, that stuff gets scrubby, it gets thinner in the winter.
Yeah, we drove by it today, and I was like, yeah, it's a little thinner than it looked a couple of months ago. And I think that's it for my presentation. I know we've answered quite a few questions.
I guess this is a forum for asking questions that would normally be asked at the planning commission, but I'm gonna ask them anyway.
Absolutely.
You mentioned security and the intensity of your security. Does that mean you need a lot of security or don't need?
We don't need the security, we just like to make sure that our employees feel safe. It's a backup for the business. Obviously, we want to protect our employees and our assets, but it's not something that it's, necessarily.
Okay, I guess I'm wondering how stressful you would be on our police officers.
For Long Grove, very doubtful that we'd be stressful at all. Our employees are trained really well to, handle, I would say 95% of any incidents. We work really well with the public. We're able to mitigate arguments within, customers to customers. We're able to do a lot of stuff within our site that we're able to help mitigate risk.
Okay, so we recently had our first carjacking in town. And so what would your people do? In the gas station?
In the gas station, so our employees, we have, pagers. They push a button on the pager, it calls to our security desk, and our security desk immediately gets on the cameras. We're able to see what's happening in the store. If there's nothing that we see where any of our employees or any customers are in immediate danger, we give the employee a phone call, and we ask what's going on. From there, our security desk will make the phone call over to the local department, whether it's Long Groves or county, which I believe is
It's the county.
Yeah, so we would be calling the county and getting with the county. That's why our camera systems are very good, is we would be able to see that happen. And we would be able to, like I said, we have facial recognition in our software, so we would be able to give an actual image to the county police, where they could.
So would your people be interfering?
No, our
No,
employees
okay.
our employees do not interfere in anything. If anybody comes in, they don't interfere.
Okay. Then my second question regards to, the car wash. Do you recycle the water?
Yes, and I don't actually have those return numbers, but yes, we do. There is the car wash goes through and recycles a lot of the water that it actually uses.
So how much water do you use?
Don't have that answer for you.
Yeah, I'm sure not, but if you could sometime give me a concept of how much water you'd be drawing.
So this is actually a very new concept for Quicker. This is brand new for us. So we're still getting into it here. This is our actual first presentation for the car wash in Illinois. I can for sure get you those numbers immediately after this.
Okay, great.
So they'd be a water user, right, which is a good thing.
Well, that's a good thing, but not if it draws down everybody else.
Got it, yes.
And then my third question would be, how does it relate with having two stations within spitting distance of this one?
Are you talking about gas stations?
Yes, yes.
So Quick Trip invests a lot of money, picking out, time and money, picking out a location. We have, counted traffic, we know that there's enough traffic here to accommodate, the gas stations that are right down the road from us. We think that, we have a great offer, and we'd be able to, it makes business sense for us, and we wouldn't be taking away from anybody else as well, because there's no traffic here.
Will you be presenting numbers to the plan commission on how you would relate to the other two that are right here?
We can get those numbers.
Yeah, I'd like to know that. And then my last question, do you have any idea how many trucks you would be bringing in on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
I don't have a number that we're expecting to bring in. I can also get you that information as well.
Okay. And then my last question is, are you planned for expansion?
Oh, what do you mean?
You've got X number of bays now. Are you planning for 5 years from now, twice as many bays?
No, ma'am. No, so what we're presenting here is pretty much our final product.
That maxes out the site?
Yes, yeah, so with the amount of property that we plan on using, and what we have interior design, specification-wise, we don't have room to add, another 8 bays. So we're.
Tear down the bank. I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, so we wouldn't be adding, a ton. If there was any addition, typically we would do one additional pump, maybe sometime in the future, but that doesn't happen, very often.
Okay. And then I'm lying, I do have a last question, and that is, how do you get your tankers in and out, filling your tanks?
If you go to the...
We can use this or no, or yes?
Might be able to use this. So, typically our tankers will come in the same way that our trucks do. And where we have our fueling, where the tankers actually put the gas into the ground is out of the general area where most people, are trafficking. And typically a lot of our, deliveries are overnight. So we try to avoid,
Okay, that's a good answer. I'd leave it.
Could you show us?
Well, but,
Go back to the hours.
yeah, I know, that's what I asked, I wanted to ask the hours, so that kinda got skipped, so when you said overnight, it queued it up again, so thanks, Helen.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, so we're a 24/7 operations. We
Okay.
generally have, we'll have at least one manager on shift at a time. Our overnights, we'll have a manager, and most of the time we'll have a clerk. And then we'll have 1 to 2 managers on shift throughout the day. We have 3 shifts, so you'll have a morning shift where the store manager will work, and then you have your afternoon shift, and then your overnight shift.
Do the other gas stations in the area also go 24 hours?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
Yes. Sorry. I was
That's hours.
Oh, not Mel, sorry. I don't go to Mel's. Mel doesn't care.
No, but the 2 that are nearby here, yeah.
The fill-ups part, Skylar, where are the actual fill-up, spots on the property where the tanker trucks come in to offload their fuel?
Yeah, so one of the site, their actual site plan on there, it'll show you, if you scroll up, sorry, right there.
Next one, no.
Next one up.
So down, right there at the on the frontage, right behind your cursor,
Yeah,
back, up.
yeah.
To your left. Yeah, those are the, tanks. for the front.
Ah, I see.
And then the.
These are the tanks in the
for
back?
Are, yeah.
So if I zoom this, you can see it now, right? Yeah. These are the tanks right here in the front. These are the tanks in the back.
So,
But that's the old design.
Yeah,
so
but
the tanks will still be there.
so if you go on the other one, the tanks are in the tank
This
position.
screen up here, right there, here we go.
See right
I guess
there,
you can
the-
see 'em.
Or whatever, 6 or 7 things next to each other.
Okay.
You mentioned they're mostly filled overnight.
For the most part, yeah. We tried to schedule our deliveries, for the overnights. Now, sometimes depending on, how much fuel we pump throughout the week, sometimes that can get changed where sometimes we do need to do, deliveries throughout the day, but.
Again, that diesel bay in the back is close to the neighbors.
Yes, sir.
There are concerns about noise and so forth overnight.
Yep, so, again, we have planned for this development to keep that portion away from, the neighbors as much as we possibly can, by adding an additional user behind us that would provide sound protection as well, as the additional landscaping that would go along those sides.
How do you typically market to attract the other tenants?
So we use, GW Properties, they're our brokers, Jeremy Foreman can, speak a little bit better to that, but he works with several different companies, and he's able to market that for us.
Can I ask the question another way? You know, we had one major development in southern Long Grove that, put some outlots in, and, they've got their real estate a little bit pricey. So how are you gonna be about attracting tenants? Will you be competitive?
Can I hand it over?
I'm happy to speak,
Sure.
Skylar. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you.
Jeremy.
I'm happy to speak, and I appreciate having a moment with everybody. This is Jeremy from GW Properties. GW Properties is a local real estate development and brokerage firm. We've focused primarily on retail throughout the Midwest, Chicago being our backyard. I'm actually from the North Shore. I currently live in Northbrook. I'm very familiar with Long Grove, certainly very familiar with Sunset Foods. I think there's gonna be a great opportunity to combine those two projects into something a little bit greater for the Long Grove community. And our firm has spent a lot of time developing retail all over the suburbs. Currently, some of you may have driven past development at Lake Cook and McHenry. It's got the fencing around it. This is GW Properties. You'll notice it now that you drive past it, but we work with a lot of national retailers, and we've started having some initial conversations with a couple of different groups about this project specifically. As you can imagine, a lot of them are very excited about joining the community of Long Grove if the opportunity presents itself. Quick Trip does a really, really fantastic job of creating developments that people can join. So I think one of the comments was, how do the economics wind up working? Because, you know, sometimes putting these projects together are extremely difficult, and without Quick Trip, this certainly wouldn't be feasible. But we are in a position that marketing the other pads and attracting the other users beyond the potential car wash has been feasible. And we're working with a couple of hotel groups throughout the MSA, throughout the Chicagoland area. They've had some interest. Trying to figure out what to do with sort of a low impact user behind the Quick Trip station is, we're gonna have to be a little bit creative there, but we do believe that there's gonna be an opportunity from an economic standpoint to attract the type of retailers that'll be a value add to the community.
Thank you. Any questions? Please go.
How many rooms do you anticipate in a potential hotel?
Jeremy, can you answer that one as well?
Sorry, I had a little trouble hearing. Can you repeat, please?
How many rooms, what kind of size hotel, occupants?
Hotel size.
Yeah.
Yeah, great question. And just to be very clear, we've just had initial conversations with the hotel users, and they are a little bit more price sensitive. So we're trying to figure out kind of how to put the entire project together. Again, we are speaking with them, and the types of users that we're talking to right now are similar to the types of users of hotel brands that we're talking to on a couple of other projects. They're about 99 doors, 99 keys. and I want to say 99 unit. I don't think that's the correct terminology in hotel parlance, but one example might be something like a True Hotel, which I think is a Hilton brand. But that's about the footprint, is something like that. I'm certainly open to examining other size hotels, but to us, it's also about attracting the right brand.
That's, how many stories are you suggesting?
Again, it's not something that we're necessarily planning, is these corporate, nationally branded hotels have their own footprints. And certainly I would assume anyway, that it's something that the city would have, some decision-making power around as far as the approvals go. But I think the True Hotels, and I could look it up or give it to Skylar to get back to you, but I want to say there are maybe could be 5-ish stories. Now I want to look it up. Give me a second.
I guess the concern would be, would the residents see the hotel on top, above the tree line?
Well, I think, well, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that could be an issue, that the height of the hotel.
Yeah, and so just to reiterate,
Yeah.
this is, again, we don't have any users
Yep.
yet, just because we're very early in this development process. They need to know that we're okay to come here, as a development prior to them committing to, coming on as tenants.
I'm gonna give Art credit for this question. He said, how would the village be involved in the selection of tenants, right?
Yeah, this is
No, I
Jeremy
just wanna
again.
add-
Let me,
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's a follow-up to your, yeah.
so the true, just to
How,
be clear, the
for
hotel.
these outlets, how would we be involved in the selection of?
I thought we were gonna be checking the tenants in the hotel.
No, not checking the people in the hotel. Although that does bring up a fun discussion as of late about, something else, but I'll leave that there.
99 rooms is 33 on.
This is Jeremy.
So,
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody's addressing the room or if you're looking for an answer, but to take a half a step back, one of the hotel groups that we have been speaking with is 3 stories. So I misspoke, I apologize. And really, it's our job to go out there and try to find the right mix of tenants, which, as you can imagine, with retail as a whole, isn't always easy. Because it's not like, there's malls popping up everywhere. You want to curate the right mix of tenants that work not only within one another, but are a value add to the community. And I don't know, and I'm not saying that the city would be involved in choosing those tenants, but I do imagine that there's going to be a process from a design or zoning or entitlement standpoint at some, part of the development process in which the city would have, some comments. That said, obviously the hotel, as Skylar pointed out, was just one concept. We thought that there was a pretty meaningful need for hotel rooms, people coming in town for weddings, people coming in town for business. Those are great tax generators and usually a pretty good value add. When you have a national brand, you see them, I would say, up and down the North Shore. I don't really, we thought there was a gap in Long Grove, but ultimately it's our job to try to attract the right mix and the right brand, the right brands that are going to be a good fit and be successful here. But there's still just initial conversations.
Just following up on that again, my name is Nick Fatika, someone of the land use attorneys working with Quick Trip. My understanding of just the plan use development ordinance and how it's applied is, if and when a new user, if a hotel were to commit as stage 2 of our development, my understanding is that there'd be a site plan approval for that use. So it wouldn't be, any hotel of any size or key number, they'd have to go through a process so that the village knew what was coming. So, I think that there's an added protection. I think the way we look at it, or the way we treat it, is Quick Trip essentially becomes the anchor tenant. And I think to Skylar's point, once the anchor tenant's established and that entitlement is in place so that the dirt can move, so that the infrastructure can be laid out, it allows other users to have a little bit more certainty in what they can present, but still require approval through Long Grove before they can get permits to establish themselves. So there is that second, and probably third layer of review.
right. And one other question, at least. Why is the detention area where it is?
the detention area is where it is because of the flow of the land, the way the grading works. There's already existing drainage on that side of the property. So we would just be making sure that everything, flows correctly with the layout of the land.
And approximately how many square feet is that? An acre?
Darla, can you give us the size of the detention system?
It's more than an acre.
You're muted if you're talking, Darla.
Thank you. It's just been preliminarily sized and it is a little under 2 acres, about an acre and a half.
And do you know how deep it is, Darla, at the deepest?
Again, we've just preliminarily sized it, but we have it at deeper because we plan for this to be a wet bottom pond, so it's more like a water feature. And I think we'll have water elevation and then the depth of the pond
When you say
will be
water
about,
feature,
it'll be 12 feet deep, so it can support, fish and aquatic life.
are they gonna get in there? So when you say a water feature, is another term for that a fountain?
Well, no, it'll look like a lake.
Okay, it'll look like, okay, I got it.
Like a pond feature.
Yeah, I understand. And this business model question, typically if a gas station has a car wash, it counts the gasoline if you get a car wash. If you don't get a car wash, obviously you pay a little bit more. Is it that kind of business model?
Andrew Smith may be able to talk a little bit more, in depth to that, but, like I said, this is pretty new for us, in merging these two businesses together. So how this, Andrew, do we offer, discounts with car washes for fuel?
So the question was, do we offer a discount program?
Yeah, well, not like a rewards program, but if they, purchase a car wash, do they get a discount on fuel?
I think that's still to be determined. We're pretty new at the whole, and I think you said it best. We're pretty new at the whole car wash business side of this. And it is technically a separate entity, even though it's under QuikTrip's umbrella, as of now. I fully anticipate over the coming years that that's going to change, and that could always change at any time. As of right now, I don't believe there's anything offered, but as the two businesses grow in synergy, I would expect you'd see some type of crossover between the two businesses in that effect.
We had a proposal for a car wash a couple of years ago, maybe more than that. And one of the issues on the previous one was the traffic in the middle of January, February, right after a nasty snowstorm. Traffic in and out, how easily can they get out? How easily can they get in without backing up on 83?
Yeah, so.
Concern, question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So as you can see on the northern side of the property, we would be connecting into the Sunset
Right here?
development right there. Yeah, so that would allow additional access, not just off of 83, but that would give the additional in and out access to the car wash to prevent congestion on 83 at that point.
My next question is, aesthetically, even though the bright lights on the pictures that you have shown isn't all of that.
Right.
We all know what a un-new gas station looks like, okay? This really is, you are the anchor tenant.
Yes, sir.
And we would be asked to hope that whoever comes along next is suitable and or acceptable. It's a major entrance. There is nothing in this that I can see differentiates us from Buffalo Grove, who is our immediate neighbor, the Shell stations in Buffalo Grove and Casey's in Buffalo Grove. There's nothing, and I don't mean a sign, I have nothing against the gas station in Long Grove. I have nothing against a gas station there. I just don't want it to look like a gas station. And I don't know how flexible you are with that, your company. I think that aesthetically, you've got the rest home across the road looking out on it. Now, it's not very pretty, no offense, but the gas stations are not.
Understood.
I'd like a beautiful one.
Yeah.
I want something that doesn't look like a gas station. And I've brought this up before with other people. Have you ever been to Park City, Utah?
I have not.
I'd like you to go there.
So would he, wants to wait for the snow though.
I'll go with it. Yeah. Sean Austin's on here, so you can
That's better than asking to go somewhere. But the reason I say that is when you are in Park City, that's not the picture, that's not the businesses are not the story. They are the support system. The story is the mountains and the rest of the topography. There is nothing on the roads in Park City that tells you there's a mall 50 feet away. You only know there's something here because cars are turning in front of you. Let's try this. There's got to be alcohol somewhere, okay? And that's where the Whole Foods is. I'm not kidding. So for the people on Arlington Heights Road, looking out on a storage facility is horrible, in my opinion. And they already, part of them looks out on our water system. Except there's a big row of pine trees there that, okay. I know you're from the south because you're calling me. You know, there's nothing that drives me aesthetically. I get the money, I get the tax revenues, I get the water usage. I'm not opposed to that. But we spend, not us, but previous boards and managers worked like crazy to get Menards to look the way it looks. It is not a typical Menards building. The campus that it sits on is not typical for that family or that business.
Right.
And Sunset Foods did a beautiful job for us with the stone, with the way the buildings are built. Because I want people to know that they're in Long Grove.
Right.
I don't want them to think, oh my gosh, this is Buffalo Grove, you know, or this is Palatine or whatever. They should know when they come into this village, after the sign and the bridge, that they're in Long Grove. I don't see anything here. Maybe you could work with, if we can come to terms, maybe your company could work with us on that. I think it's really important.
Yeah,
You know, except for the fact that I want to make a left turn, why would I pull in here? And I don't care.
Right.
But to have no, for us to have no, let me put it this way, I would much prefer, if possible, typically when you get an anchor tenant and a developer, they can tell you what's going in, especially with what's going on around us. You know, they, for example, in Vernon Hills, they knew Whole Foods was the anchor tenant, but they also came to the city and said, and we have an REI here, and we have Culver's here, and we have this, that, the other.
Right.
Ideally, I get it, that's a whole package for us. Basically, you're asking us, will we put in a gas station at the entrance to the village? And worse, it looks like a gas station. Maybe we could be a premier property for Quick Trip. Maybe that's possible.
Right, and we have worked with villages and other municipalities in the past. obviously, we have been around for quite a while. So we have had to make those changes, and we've worked within, those municipalities to make changes within our model, essentially, to meet the aesthetics of whatever community that we're trying to fit into. I can't promise you that we would be able to match Sunset Foods, brick for brick or stone for stone, but, I can say that we can do our best to make sure that we fit the aesthetics of Long Grove and make sure that whenever somebody looks at our location, that it feels like Long Grove.
And that would be great. I have a feeling that your vision and my vision are two different things. Maybe we
It's quite possible.
maybe we can, I like your company a lot. Your company has a fabulous business model. I've been to Quick Trip, not in the Chicago area.
Right.
In Texas and the rest of the southern part of the country. Your employees love you. I love your employees. I have never gone into a Quick Trip that wasn't clean and bright, and that where the employees, without fail, say, hi. Okay, and y'all come back now. Okay. I like that. I like that they're profit sharing with the employees. You know, you are a quality company, and
Can I stop sharing?
I would hope that if this gets approved, there's something besides storage buildings on the back of this. That this seems like the gas station part of it with the diesel and 16 pumps. The BP at Rand and Quentin only have 12 pumps. You know, like, this is a major gas station. And I don't know why in 2023 we're building gas stations, really, anymore, but.
Because we're not selling.
I know there is, I know that there's because there's still a need for it. What's the vision in 5 years when 20% of cars are gasoline? Is the vision that this is all gonna be EV, chargers?
That's a really rapid 5 years.
Yeah, well.
You know.
Yeah, and like I stated earlier, obviously as, the market changes and, our business will also have to update as well.
Of course.
Right, and so, when and if that time comes, we would obviously have to make those changes and start looking more at those other, revenue streams than gasoline, but, currently, that's still not there for us.
Can I ask you an industry type question that you may or may not know?
Sure, yep.
I'm noticing that when new gas stations go in, they have a huge footprint. There's one on Rand Road, True North, just put in a Shell station right there. They have, if I'm not mistaken, a total of 4 pumps, 8 nozzles.
Okay.
And it's a big footprint.
Right.
Tell me why on the newer stations that seems to be the case.
Well, I can go to explain why our footprint is the way that it is because, we've been in business for a very long time and we've worked through, our design standards to make sure that ingress, egress, and travel throughout our site are as safe as possible for both pedestrians and for people driving. And that's the reason why the aisles are the way that they are, that the drive entrances are the way that they are, and then why there's so much space around the canopy. It's to prevent collisions, prevent pedestrian and car accidents and stuff like that. So, we spend a lot of time making sure that our design standards are as safe as we can possibly make them.
I see, that makes sense.
Can I sorry.
I would really hope that you don't have, I would really hope that if you don't want to match Sunset Foods aesthetics, that this entity would complement it.
Okay.
So it isn't, if we come to terms on this, you know, harsh red, the white, the whatever.
The red's their
You know,
brand.
I would like to see, again, if we can come to terms on it, at least, let's go for the top. Match or something extremely complimentary. You know, the town is called Long Grove for the long grove of trees that run through town. No other community has that. And the gentleman, Jeremy, who lives on the North Shore, you know, it's similar to Highland Park, and, you know, it's not North Chicago. So, and that's probably not a good analogy either.
Yeah, and, again, we would for sure make sure that we're gonna work diligently with staff to make sure that we try to do as much as we possibly can to be a complement.
Chris, you've been silent,
to
you have
Long
comments?
Grove in our design and architecture.
Questions?
And that's a big deal. I don't want
Wanna
your
get
time
your
wasted in North
thoughts here.
Meadow View.
An hour?
It's an
Yeah.
entrance to the village.
Yeah, and I understand, and, you know, we've taken a long time and put a lot of effort into this, and, we are committed to making sure that this works, you know, and working with the village to be a complement here.
I hope so, because we put a lot of time and energy into making it not look like neighboring communities with something that's unique.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, trustee O'Connor. Trustee Borowski has, some remarks or questions.
I'm all over the place, really. So, just reaffirm or reconfirm my understanding. So, the warehouse building is not really planned, it's just kind of a concept, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
what we're showing is an indoors climate-controlled storage facility.
Okay, and that generates how much tax revenue for the village?
I'm not sure on storage
Zero.
facility.
Zero.
Right.
The hotel, how much does that?
We have a 5% hotel tax.
5%, okay, thank you. And then car wash?
Water sales and,
We have some issues there.
Oh,
except
just
it
water.
recycles, so
So
it
that's
recycles.
still a, kind of a zero, right? Because we don't tax car washes, right, in terms of retail sales tax, right?
I don't think that they are.
Or not, there's no
Yeah.
profit
No,
there.
no.
Unless we sell, soap, or something like that. Okay, so I just wanted to reconfirm that. What is the planned impervious coverage right now for this parcel for the beauty? Impervious. Impervious. I'm just
Darla,
asking,
do you happen to know the pervious and impervious ratio for our property?
based on that layout, based on parking for all those different.
I think Darla's probably gonna pull it up, here in a second.
My next question was back to you, Skylar. So you said you've worked with communities before to try to mitigate some of the redness, if you will, or the gas station. Look, what's your pinnacle? Can you give us an example of a finished product that says, this is so atypical, quick trip, designed to fit into the community? Do you have an example of that that you can refer to?
Yeah, I can have, Andrew get one pulled up while we're talking. Andrew?
You don't need to show it to us today, because,
Okay, yeah.
you know, but if you can
Well, we
share
can,
that with
yeah, I
us,
can
I'd
send that,
appreciate it.
share that
'cause-
with you guys. It'll be a store from Kansas City, and show how we met within that municipality.
Okay, so I kind of go with Rita. So far, what you presented to us is a lot of unknowns, several limited tax generators on the outside, the need for more services, because to the point, you know, stuff happens at gas stations, right, shoplifting or carjackings or whatever, so we have a need for more services. And so far, you've presented to us a gas station at the entrance to the Village of Long Grove that's 24/7, that's gonna be bright light, that's gonna be high volume in an intersection that doesn't want to see any more volume. Trust me, I know I drive at rush hour both ways every day. I do not want to see that traffic there. I know you gotta widen the road. I don't know if that's gonna help the northbound traffic up to Aptekissick. I don't know if it's gonna help the southbound down there on Zen Heights Road. Looks like a gas station. I have no interest.
Okay. Yeah,
Based on that model.
okay, yeah,
Based on
and
that model.
I understand, Louie could probably speak a little bit more to, our traffic study, and I can get you guys that information.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I know that's gonna be a part of our review anyway, is the traffic study, so, we'll get that into you guys.
As will the light.
Yeah, and the lighting, we'll also be
Well,
submitting photometric plans.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that, if you guys could tell us what you expect the lumens to be X number of feet off the property.
Yeah,
at
so
the sites and all
in
that.
general, it's between 0.3 and 0.5 lumens at our property line.
At the property line?
Yep. So we, like I said, we make sure that everything's very shielded, to try to eliminate as much overflow of our lighting as we can.
Okay.
Other questions? Go ahead.
I'm kind of pulling off both Chris and Rita here. is there room, as an entrance into Long Grove for an entrance monument, some space for that? Because I think is it Arlington Heights or somebody that has that great entrance with the waterfall and is there room for something? I mean, just talking about if you're trying to get a look that says you're in Long Grove when you drive in.
But it's more than a sign. It's,
Yeah.
you know when you come around the curve that
Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
different.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, not just Park City, but you can use Scottsdale just as well. I mean, they have a way to, you have no idea the gas station's there until you physically drive down the hill beyond the cactuses and you go, oh crap, there's a gas station, you know?
But, I'm sorry, this doesn't work for generating sales tax if people don't know it's there. I mean, I have high interest in this, but not some of the back concepts. I think to Trish's point, I agree with Rita that this is a beginning of our village, and so we want it to be in keeping with our village. 15 acres of farmland isn't doing this trip right now, so, you know, I have a high interest in developing from a tip and also the, you know, some level of water usage. If we could find something that looks like retail. I will say something I've said on other properties, and I'm one of these, so I'm on the back of you. Neighbors are not owed the view that they bought before unless they actually own that property. Okay? That said, part of it, so it's like we don't owe everybody the ability to look at a field of corn. We do, as trustees, owe them good protection on lighting and berms and landscaping and stuff like that, and we have a lovely plan commission that will be, putting through all of that, but that's it.
Provided you refer it.
Yeah, well, I would like to. I would like to see this developed. I think that Quick Trip to put something on there, this is absolutely, you know, I put it on the A3, I wouldn't put that kind of thing on Old McHenry. You know, I'd like to see it, I'd like to see at least go to the plan commission and, you know, kind of work with that. We would like to see more sales tax opportunity.
Okay.
Absolutely out of this property. Are you asking for anything from us from a TIF standpoint?
At this point, we are not, and we don't plan to. So Quick Trip plans to pay for the improvements and everything required for this development.
Trustee O'Reilly has a comment, yes.
One question for Dick. Say this plan came all the way through the process with just them, the tenant. Can that whole plan be approved, not knowing what these other projects would be?
Yeah, as I would look at this right now, it would come forward as a plan development. There would be essentially concepts for everything, and they would have a preliminary plan unit development approval for the entirety. We could even give them a final plat for the entirety, but the final PUD would only be for the gas station, and then they'd have to come back with the other lots and go through the final PUD process. So we'd be looking at the individual lot site plans, the elevations for the buildings, the landscaping, the whole 9 yards. Now, I would think that
Just like
even,
Menard.
yeah, just like Menard, I think one of the things we might do, taking a page and crumbling it up and throwing it out from we may want to make sure that we have more complete frontage landscaping and eastern landscaping. I mean, I think that the 2 points of landscaping that are going to be most critical on this are going to be the Route 83 frontage and what is abutting the properties that are on Arlington Heights Road. So those might be things that we'd want to have some greater definition of at the outset.
Using the hotel as an example, if that would, how close a concept would that be?
I would think, and, you know, I don't know how definite their planning is for that being a hotel, or whether that is an ideal, but it could be any number of other uses. I think we would probably, in the preliminary PUD, identify either a use or a small number of uses that are potential for each of those. Doesn't mean it's immutable. They can always come back and ask for an amendment, but I think we'd want to have some concepts of that.
Yeah, because this is kind of a pig in the poke. That you don't.
Which actually is quoting one of the premier and original zoning cases. Amber versus Euclid, they use that pig in a poke line.
Anthony,
So my concern is that we like this, but we don't know anything else about it, and so I'm not sure how that gets approved.
Well, I think two things that are here that will be different from Menards. If you remember, Menards came in as an annexation, so we have an annexation. You are correct, but,
That's why you don't remember.
well, I mean, we've talked about Menards. Menards has an annexation agreement. One of the things that Menards annexation agreement allowed was, that they didn't have to come in for final within the, period identified in our code. That would not be applicable here. So, somebody had asked, you know, what's the fuse on this? Are you gonna be sitting on this forever? They're not gonna have that same, opportunity because of the time frame we have in our code for going from preliminary to final.
Say that again in a different way.
Okay. Menards, in their annexation agreement, was not bound by the time period for going from preliminary to final PUD. So that's why those other lots didn't have an urgency. There will be that urgency for this one.
But that's a double-edged sword.
Yes. But we have the ability
But then
to,
they're forced to take whatever comes along.
or to ask for an extension.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be as open-ended as it is for Menards, which I think all of us will probably see as a frustration.
it at least, this situation would at least keep us talking to each other.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so there's some comments here, right?
Yeah, so I wanted to address that. Obviously, whenever we go with this project and talk to planning and zoning, we would be creating a PUD, which you all would, like stated, would have control over who, what uses would be allowed within the PUD. So as we work through that, we would be able to figure out who we are going to be marketing to, for our surplus lots. So it'd be kind of working in conjunction with the village to make sure that we find the correct tenants, that the village is looking for.
Thank you.
One of the issues with that, though, I have observed, from this narrow perspective, if you put in a gas station, you attract like kind. You attract the tire shops, the lube shops, and all matters of automotive versus, now I'll just use it because everybody knows, versus a food store that attracts nail shops and phone stores and,
Yeah.
you know, this is an intense, seems to be an intense use of this property. And surface-wise as well as the kind of that you have suggested.
Right.
And if there was a hotel or a condominium, underground parking allows more pervious surface than all of that asphalt around. You know, it's sometimes it's a nuance of difference.
Yeah, understood.
I'm sorry, one of the things that I wanted to point out is, I think, the attorney kind of hit it on the head. In working through the process, yes, we're treating ourselves and even the car wash as the first two installments, at the planning and development. But what this process would allow us to do is come up with that list of other acceptable or proposed future uses. I have no problem with the tire shop, but if the village doesn't want another tire shop, we could exclude that as a potential future use within the area. So if I can finish up, what that also does is it gives us a list so that our brokers are working on those types of uses. So it forces engagement so that if you were to say, you know, a restaurant, a retail store, and a hotel are the other uses, that really gives our team a lot of direction to say, these are the future tenants that we need to start marketing to and focus our marketing efforts there. So again, I just wanted to kind of emphasize the collaboration. It allows us, in going through this process and establishing the plan unit development, it allows us to become the anchor and know that our use is going to be allowed there. And then the future uses, it gives us a little bit more certainty to what to bring back. As on that second site plan approval or PUD approval, for the development of the other lots.
If I may, Quick Trip, we generally raise the standard, where we go. Whenever we go to an area to develop, something similar to this, we, generally raise the amount of customer service in the area, as well as the upkeep on the surrounding areas and the businesses. We maintain our property very well, I mean, you've been to Quick Trip before, and by us maintaining such a high standard, we generally have the other businesses around us naturally maintain a higher standard of upkeep as well. It's hard to say here in Long Grove, I'm not here, but, in general, yes.
Yeah, I know.
It's rare to see a restaurant next to a gas station.
And we're different.
I think one of the things that they've highlighted, and I think if you look at the materials, they have a big food component, and one of the Quick Trips that is right near my mother-in-law's home has a fast food restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, and a hotel surrounding it. So it's not unlike what they're depicting here. So,
Storage facility.
well,
I don't think any of us want a storage facility. I'm just
but
gonna say that right now.
I think that what we
Yeah.
can do.
I don't think that,
We even commented on that when we saw the draft plan, like, we like, storage facility, really? We don't want that.
I think what we can do is when we go through the zoning process, we can identify as, I'm sorry, Nick, I didn't get your last name, but what Nick was saying, that would be, part of the process.
And we can also update, I mean, we're not married to the storage facility. I mean, we can show a different business there if needed. For whenever we come back for the planning and zoning commission, we can for sure change that building out and put something else that's, more acceptable by Long Grove in its place.
or think about what else is around and what gaps exist. You've got the, what did you call it, the rest home?
The rest.
We're still working on the rest.
It's also kind of like Walmart moving into small town too, right? I mean, you've got this big restaurant facility, you guys are high volume, I've been through Quick Trips for breakfast and lunches, I get it, order at the kiosk, all that, I get it. But you got a Walmart moving into small town, so how does this correlate, relate, how does this blend with downtown businesses? If we're doing coffee and sandwiches here in high volume and it's so convenient to stop there, does that help or hurt downtown at all? I think that's a consideration we need to kind of think through as well. Because it really is like, these guys are high volume, great stuff, I get it, but it's high volume in a small town, we're gonna put the rest of our shops.
I think the volume,
Different clientele. You probably get a lot of pass-through traffic on 83.
Yeah, you mean the ones who live in northern Long Grove, like me? I mean, I gotta go that way every day, so it's not pass-through traffic, I live here.
what would you
How
like
often
to?
do you stop downtown to eat in the morning?
There's not a lot open in the morning, so you can't get a cup of
You
coffee.
can't get through town in the morning. There's just more traffic, right?
I think they can coexist.
I think they could go with this. I think there's also, like, you trying to find someplace to eat that isn't the Sunset on a Monday? I mean,
I think we need to
Well, okay,
leave
there's
something
fair, but-
for the planning commission.
Well, so great point. So we've been
I'd like to-
we've been at this for an hour and 20 minutes or so. And so, the action on the table is to refer it to the planning
I
commission.
move we refer it to planning.
Okay. Okay, so trustee,
Can I clarify what we're referring actually? Are we referring the gas station plus unknown out?
help us out here, Vic.
Well, the way our code is set up, we're not referring anything in particular other than their ability to move forward to the next step. Because they're gonna be requiring amendments to the code, either map or the text. And as a result, our code has a vetting process for our village board. And that's what this is tonight, and what we're saying is, go forth and see what happens.
Okay, so it was moved by trustee Kritzmeyer, seconded by trustee Tanucci, and that would be a roll call.
Trustee Kritzmeyer. Aye. Trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
Trustee Borowski.
No.
Trustee Jamil.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for being here in person too. Appreciate it. And online, and I don't even know how many people are gonna leave when we walk out the door.
It's not for planning either, but I challenge you to look at the market opportunity for car wash that fits an 8-foot, that middle thing. It's not a semi and it's not a passenger car.
Yeah, we'll take a look.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
What he's saying, I'm sure will be.
All right, village engineer Perry's report. The engineer's report presented by village engineer Perry. Perry report.
All right, the engineer's report's in the board packet, a couple things just to highlight tonight. The Checker Road, the heat cables have been removed, they're, back at the warehouse. Ready for the next deployment. Village hall expansion, just quickly, the village hall portion of the project, Dana, you may know when the bids are due for that, but I know it's being issued for bidding, we coordinated on that, so I don't know what the date is to share with the board.
I can pull it up, I don't remember off the top of my head, but, should be in the, I assume it's in the app, the Daily Herald.
Okay. And then the other two items have to, do with the roof barn, so we'll just, those until, the next discussion. Arlington Heights Road number 9, as I reported last meeting, the county is bidding that in February. I found out yesterday that the tree removal for that project is actually going to start on Monday. They've got the long-eared bat in the area, so the trees need to be removed between November 1st and March 30th. So, found out yesterday that the trees in the islands are gonna start being removed next week.
You can only remove trees at certain times of the year because of the bat.
Habitat.
The center median,
Of Arlington Heights Road.
Arlington Heights Road,
So there's bats on those trees?
in the area.
Okay, got it.
It's a state law, right?
Yeah, exactly. What's that? Yeah, like a lot of other things, it's, yeah.
It's a county-wide
I think they're
thing.
everywhere in Lake County.
So all the trees are coming down in the median?
Not all of them, select ones,
Okay.
put their lanes in and things like that. At the Kissick Road, they completed the, moving of all of the traffic onto the new pavement, and they're trying to get as much work done before winter sets in. They're still working through that. Jumping down, number 15, the capital improvement plan is being updated, for presentation back to the village board in early 2024. And, just wanted to, real quick, just highlighting a typo, number 2531 Shenandoah Drive. These guys, did a little bit of work that wasn't permitted, so we did not issue a storm work order, we, issued a stop work order at that property. So I apologize for the typo there.
Okay.
So, with that, if there's any questions, happy to take them.
15D, there's an engineer's opinion of probable cost included in the board packet, which I couldn't
Oh,
find.
okay. So, a few meetings ago, trustee Riley had asked, to look at a sidewalk connection from from the northwest corner of the Archer parking lot to the southeast corner of the intersection. The feedback of that, did not make it into the board packet, and we had looked at a cost estimate to do that, and putting an asphalt connection through there is expensive. It's about $13,000. So, scheduled the, path with, trustee O'Reilly. I don't know what the next steps of that would be.
Well, obviously, I think it's a good idea for whether it's, parking for downtown or ultimately for the restaurants that are there, but it comes down to money, of course.
Yeah, the only issue is though the property is owned by Dr. Levin.
Well, and as I told Jeff, I'd be more than happy to talk with him, because it could be beneficial to him
True,
to do that.
yeah.
So I will do that,
I think you should,
yeah.
yeah,
And there's just an exhibit of what we're talking about for
yeah.
That was for concrete, so we looked at asphalt, that's way more economical.
Is this one of the Archer outlots
Yeah, it is,
that we
it
want
is.
to have developed?
Yes, it's one of the ones that cuts the corner of the outlet. But Bobby's gonna go ask Dr. Levin, so. Yeah. Anything else? Any report?
I don't understand what this would accomplish.
It would accomplish, people who can't find parking in the downtown, but are not willing to walk all the way around that berm to park a car and then walk all the way back to town.
I can't get to downtown either by pathway, Bobby, I need one. Just drive my golf cart to downtown. Do that first.
Oh, hell, I'll pick you up.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so can I keep us moving?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep us moving. All right,
Well, no, I will tell you, from my vantage point, I see people try to park where I park, they give up and they drive out of town.
I can't even get to town, so same goes.
Well, there you go.
all right.
Go to the road.
I'm gonna keep, can I keep us, I'm gonna keep us moving. Any report, right? All right, so, discussion and consideration of resolution regarding the Ruth Barn relocation and bid authorization. And Art is gonna take us through that. He has volunteered, or been voluntold, I don't know which.
Volunteer. Yes, this is a resolution recommended, and staff recommends approval, promotes the downtown historic campus plan and provides relocation options so the barn can be moved by April 1st to allow the village hall work to begin. And Kent and Jeff and myself can answer any questions about that, but this resolution would authorize GHA to go out for bid and provide
Proposals. Not for bidding.
I'm sorry, I messed that up. That's exactly right. We're asking you to waive the bidding process so that Jeff can go out for proposals to find a contractor and to present options on where to move the Ruth Barn to, the route, the cost, et cetera, et cetera. And that's a kind of the brief summary of it. I did send you some material today. I apologize for the lateness of it, but we had some questions the last minute. We got some from Jane that we'd answered, and that led to some further discussions, which led, between Jeff and I, which led to this memo that you got today. But in addition to that, the Village Hall Committee of Kent, myself, Dana, and Jeff had met before, and so we have a pretty good concept and be able to answer most of the questions that come up today. But this allows us to get moving forward. It's necessary to move forward now because that's the amount of time it's going to take to actually get the proposals to us in time to have the barn moved by April 1st so that the Village Hall can move forward. And with that, I know, Kent, you might have more to say, and then and maybe Vic, and then Jeff and I can answer questions as we go.
So we're waiving the bidding, not only for scheduling purposes, but even more importantly, because this is a specialized operation to move an old delicate barn, and, you know, we want to make sure we're getting proposals from people who are up to the task.
Concern I have with the way this is worded, what if, thanks to global warming, we have a mild winter, and they say, we can start digging March 1. But what then do we, how would we proceed or not proceed if that?
That won't happen because Wold Architects has submitted their bid requests out to the contractors. Those are gonna come back to the village on
January 12th.
January 12th. And their bid proposal is designed to start April 1st and on.
I see.
So we won't have to worry about that.
But if they start April first, should it not be moved prior to that?
Yes, the whole design of this, the whole purpose of this resolution is to allow them, to make sure that the barn is moved prior to April 1st.
I see, I got you.
Question?
Um,
Yeah, oh, sorry, there's another one? All right.
Just a suggestion, and it's really just sort of a practical kind of thing, I think. We talked about a feasibility study. Would it not make sense to know if it's feasible to move it to that location before we spin wheels?
Yeah, absolutely, because, and like the email that you got, earlier today, you know, we're proposing to start talking to contractors at the beginning of February. So that allows a month to kind of sort through however that process looks, through some of those issues and, you know, encumbrances that are at the farmhouse property for putting two buildings there.
And we wouldn't have that
So-
time if we went to bid by waiving the bid requirement.
But, I'm sorry.
It just gives us the time to do the feasibility studies and do these other unanswered questions. It gives us the time to do that. And that's one of the reasons we're waiving the bid, not only because it's a specialized project that requires certain specialized expertise, but also because it gives us extra time to answer some of those unanswered questions.
And with all the moving pieces, if we were to
Right,
have a bid
yeah.
process,
Right,
we might be changing order, or, you know, having change orders in the bid, or addendas in the
Yeah.
bidding, that is just gonna confuse and delay that process, so.
so we're working concurrently then, is that, okay?
Trustee Riley had it. Oh, sorry.
I would, another question is, have we been able to give the people at the Historical Society a list of anticipated expenses? I think we've identified for them the big ones. I'm not sure that things like a foundation or permits from Lake Dot or coordination with I don't think we've given them a solid number. It seems to me that when I would go back over the notes and things, I couldn't come up with one, and I thought, well, if I can't, I don't know if they're able to.
One of the purposes of waiving the bids is to give us time to get that information to the Historical Society. At this point, they have all the information, I hope, all the information that we have, that you have, they have through Jane. We've been back and forthing, and they've been giving us progress reports on what they're up to, and we've been giving them what we have. Unfortunately, there's a lot of information neither of us knows, and so this waiving the bids is going to give us the time to find that out. Now, this goes forward, one of the things on number 4 on my memo today says, Historical Society needs to develop a downtown site plan and the lead agency chosen. We're going to have to figure out who's the lead agency. Is it Historical Society? Is it Historical Society and the Downtown Association? Is it the village? We need time to figure those things out. And it'll be the typical costs that would come for any development, except this is not a commercial development, so there might be some nuances and things we can work through.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be a moving target for them.
No, one of the reasons we want to plug it down today is so we're not having any more moving targets.
I don't quite,
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna, Trustee O'Reilly had a comment.
Okay.
She's had her hand raised for a while.
I just wanted to say about Greg's memo and yours, kind of pulling all this together, is that the first thing I read is something about somebody thinks it'll go down some corridor. And I'm thinking, no, we can't think about something. We have to know something. And so I like, Jeff's answers and trying to put this in a concrete, I know this and I don't know that, and I need to find it out, and gathering all of this so that we know where we are.
Sorry, Trustee Fitzgerald.
So, a couple of questions. Are we is the village like the general contractor of this project? Who is owning this project? Because that really feels like it could be a jump ball or a drop ball.
You know,
And I'm
At least insofar as this resolution is concerned, the village would be conveying that barn to the Historical Society. Now, that hasn't been finalized, because one of the things we also say is there's gotta be the agreement for all this, but the village would be conveying it to the Historical Society. So it would be responsible for the relocation, the placement, and the land development of their site. And the village would be providing a stipend to offset some of those costs. But we are really gonna be more in the regulatory aspect of this, because we have to approve it from a zoning perspective, from a stormwater management perspective, from a variety of permitting things, and there will be other agencies as well.
Mhm. It feels like there's two things. It does feel like we're expending a lot of village engineer time, and I don't know if we'd want to understand that better, or if it could be understood at this point in time. And the other thing is, if what this is doing is conveying the roof barn to there and saying we'll do a stipend, I know we've talked about it. Is there any value, please advise, with spelling out better that we will make our best efforts to make all of the permitting process, speedy and easy on the side that the village can control?
I mean, I think that the whole effort here is one of cooperation and
Yeah.
not quite partnership, but, a quasi-partnership in
We're
terms
in the
of.
how might we, not the.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's pushing presumably in the same direction.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel,
So,
we want to cooperate.
I mean, we can certainly add language to that. I think that the whole point of this resolution was to demonstrate that, we're on the same page as far as trying to make this happen.
And if it needs to move twice, temporary and final, right now what we're saying is that we will absolutely commit 50,000.
I think there's, that's part of the whole thing, is that we're committed to the 50,000,
Yes,
and
yep, we've agreed.
however it has to happen.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? How
Yeah,
is
please.
the 50,000 figure? How did it come out to be 50,000 starting? Is there any calculation for that?
I thought that this was really based on, and Kent, you might have, or
Yeah,
Jeff might have the better
The
handle.
cost difference between moving it back here versus moving it to the Historical Society's property.
We would have paid that to move it to a different part of this property, this site. And so if we would have paid that to move it from here to there, why not deploy it for the benefit of moving it to the Historical
That's a better way
Society
to
campus?
explain it.
The other question I had is, why is the village waiving the competitive bid and putting it in the hands of village manager to decide?
Well, the thinking behind that is that moving buildings isn't something that every contractor can do. When we get a competitive bidding process, we can get a bid from anybody. And
Literally anybody.
And our obligation is to take the bid of the lowest responsible bidder. And it's hard to disqualify someone as a responsible bidder unless they have some checklist against them, in the process. But they may not have the experience to really do it in the way that we want. There are companies that have done this with some regularity, and I think that the thinking was that Jeff and Gaywald Hamilton will be doing the research to figure out who knows how to do this. I mean, I've actually seen buildings move, but it's not like something I've seen recently or often.
Can I ask a question,
So-
Dick? So they can still go out and solicit quotes, it just won't be a formal bidding process.
Right, the whole point is to try to identify the responsible contractors, and then go after them and say, tell us how much you're gonna, how you're gonna do this, how much it's gonna cost. So we'll be creating some parameters, but they're the experts, and presumably they're gonna have some input on how it's gonna happen.
We want the barn To be moved by an experienced, responsible mover, so it drives at its destination
In one
like
piece.
in one piece, like it is right now.
And I think one of the other aspects of it is, if we're doing a competitive bidding, we have to set out all all the specifications for that. Going out for proposals, you can tap into some of the knowledge of the bidders and have them tell you what they need to do. Which, you know, again, that takes some of the burden off of, the village and our engineer, but it also plugs us into a more knowledgeable database for getting it done.
They may have an idea that you all isn't familiar with, and that particular vendor might come and say, you can do it this way, save you money and save time, or it reduces your chances of any damage, And that's what they're gonna do, is find out those type of vendors that are specialized that can do that sort of thing.
I understand the experience and consistent use of the same vendor contractors, but the thing is, and the interest, because the village is spending money, I think it should be more transparent and then it should be more open for other people to also have a say, and then you guys can decide and come back to the village board to see.
And they will.
That wording what it says in the last sentence, I'm not comfortable with.
I think if I'm right, Vic, the proposals will still be approved by the board, this board.
Correct.
So you still will have that.
And there's nothing that would preclude some kind, I mean, we can certainly post it on our website and let people know that we're looking, and if somebody has an interest and thinks they have the capabilities, they can certainly reach out to Gaywald Hamilton. I think that you know, again, I can't tell you with any certainty that you know, that we're hitting the right mark here, but given the uncommonness of moving buildings, trying to find those entities that have done it before successfully, more likely to reflect success in this instance.
Hey, Vic, though, so, it doesn't say that, they'll bring it back to the board for approval, but can you just add that, or it's just that they have to bring it back to the board for approval, that last paragraph?
Well, I mean, we can say that, but the village board has to approve it.
The village board has to
This doesn't say that the manager approves it.
No, you're just saying they can go get.
We're going out to get it.
Yeah, I'm just addressing the, you know, concern. So.
I guess I think of that as a given. Nobody has the
Okay.
ability to
You good with
spend
that?
that money without
Yes, okay.
our approval.
Have we discussed anything other than the 50,000? In other words, if the building gets moved twice, does that make, just my question?
Yeah, no, we haven't agreed to any more money than 50 grand, that's it.
Right, but, and maybe I misunderstood what you said, and that it cost us 50,000 to move it from here to right here. But if it gets moved a second time, the 50,000 is gone, is that correct?
Temporarily, what's the cost to temporarily move it?
I thought the purpose was, because it's gonna cost us 50 grand, so if you're gonna move it from here to there, we'll put 50,000 toward it, because
Right.
that's what we would have paid. So
Our 50 wasn't total, remember we went back and forth, the 50 isn't just the moving, it was also, I think, the permanent
Foundation and stuff,
foundation.
yeah.
Right,
and also-
but
Yeah.
we agreed to 50,000.
But
Right.
we've agreed to 50,000.
We would have,
That's what we're saying right now, it doesn't mean that we couldn't do something different
Come-
or additional.
Yeah.
a second there.
I mean, I guess in some respects, we are planning for the best here.
I understand, I just clarifying that.
And trying for the best.
Chris, do you have questions? You've been quiet.
What's Plan B?
Well, I think, that actually is a very appropriate and good question. And I think that a lot of the problem is that there is an information gap still. But in order to take the next step, the things that we do know is we have to move that barn by April 1st. And there's a lot more to fill in the blanks. And so what this resolution is trying to accomplish are essentially three things. One, committing the 50,000 that the board discussed at the last meeting. Two, setting up a process to figure out who's going to do the work, you know, to get the proposals. And three, having direction that we need a lot more information before it all gets finalized. I mean, we don't know feasibility over there. We don't know what the fundraising time frame is. We have other issues that will no doubt be identified in the course of it, but in some respects, and I had mentioned this to trustees Canucci and Kritzmeyer earlier today, in some respects, this is premature because we don't have most of the information, but we don't have the luxury of getting all the information first because of the April 1st deadline. So I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't.
When do we need to put a foundation in? If we're gonna go from here to there, if the barn isn't gonna move on April 1, is it? And so, if so, when does the foundation go in?
Wait, we need to put a foundation in?
Well, you gotta put it on.
No, it's a temporary, if it was
Oh, okay.
temporary, you wouldn't have a
Okay, when you
foundation.
say foundation, I'm thinking the permanent.
One of the ideas was we just need to get it over there, and then they can work through when the foundation can be put in and everything. So the issue is, though, getting it over there could be a challenge because of all the wires above.
No. When you say over there, do you mean?
At the
over
Historic
there
Society,
or
at the
over there?
Historic Society.
What are you talking about when you said over
I'm
there?
talking about if we have to move it by April 1, come hell or high water, we're not gonna just put it on a piece of earth over there. We gotta put it on something, so.
Where, at the historical society?
No,
No,
here,
if we have to keep it on property, there was some, a wooden platform, there were some things.
Temporary piers.
Yeah, but then we gotta list it again.
So, I mean, that's why, I had chosen the February 27th date to bring a contract back to the board to move it. Because presumably by then, we're gonna have, the contract is going to have the things in there, such as along the way. So that gives a whole month to prep for it and get that, those logistics.
So the deadline is February 27th, not April 1.
That's what he's
For the
proposing.
proposals, yeah,
He's
for
proposing.
contracts, yep.
So it feels like the intent of this is to clarify the jump ball, drop ball. It's just not real clear what game we're playing all the way. It's probably a bad metaphor, but I'm lost. I'm lost also. I think none of us want a jump ball or a drop ball, but what it feels like is we're conveying this, but we're also saying, and Jeff gets to go along for the next 3 months for a ride too. I don't know.
Well,
Is that helpful?
I am anticipating that as we get more information from the Historical Society, from Jeff, from contractors, this will take some shape that we'll all be able to get our arms around. I don't know that any of us can today. Maybe I'm the dummy here because I just don't, I don't know what we're going to do other than we need to move the barn.
Why do we need this resolution now?
The two things that this resolution does specifically for now, one is to waive the competitive bidding.
I get that, and I understand that.
And the other one, and this was something that really is a carryover from your last meeting, was to formalize the commitment for the $50,000.
Okay, I move we approve it then.
Okay, so it's moved by trustee Kritzmeyer, seconded by, did it trustee O'Reilly? Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Kritzmeyer.
Aye.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Trustee Borowski.
Present.
He's abstaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trustee Jamil.
Nay.
Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
Trustee Canucci.
Aye.
Yeah, so motion carried. All right, I do not, it's 9 o'clock, so I'm not gonna have a report. Trustee Borowski, do you have a report?
No, sir.
Trustee Jamil? Trustee Kritzmeyer?
Only that we're proceeding with the budget. Jeff mentioned, we talked about the capital plan, and I'm, kudos to Art and Dana for getting the budget process going early and persistently.
Thank you. Trustee O'Reilly?
I have a question that came up in my mind while we're sitting here, and that's about dates. We talked a year or more ago about debating whether we could have a vote for home rule. And that would be next year. I'm wondering what the deadline is for filing for it.
If we wanted to have a home rule referendum at the primary, the 2024 primary, we have we'd have to have a special meeting, because we're not having the second meeting this month, right?
No, we're not.
We would have to have a special meeting. The deadline for the primary is December either 30th or 31st.
Next year.
No, if we wanted the 2024 primary,
24, sorry.
we would have to
Yeah.
have a
But that's March.
referendum
March,
approved
right.
by then. If we were looking at the general election,
Yeah.
the November election, then it's, I haven't calculated that, but it's sometime in
So
August.
we missed the spring.
Right, again, unless we want to have a special meeting and we can have a resolution passed for that time.
I learned something. I thought we could only do it during the consolidated election, but no, we can do it.
No, we
primary,
can do
general
it
election.
at any general or primary or consolidated
Okay,
election.
that's good.
Is there some reference you could give us also about, to me, that would require a lot of communication or education, and I believe, I understand that there are parameters around that.
Yeah, Art and I talked on Friday, and I'm gathering some information.
Thank you.
I mean, you know, people have asked me many times, is home rule good or bad, and my answer is always yes.
Would you be okay, though, if we prepared for it so that, you know, we didn't just spring it on the public and we,
Oh, Lord, yes.
yeah, okay, so it'd be the November thing, yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I said.
Okay, yeah, okay, got it,
We should debate.
I'm not sure you want to do it.
correct,
I wanted the possibility
got it,
to do it, which is why I mentioned it a year ago.
yeah.
No, and I'm putting some materials together that I've used in various different
But
fora and communities.
But we don't have the opportunity without a special meeting to get it in the spring.
Correct.
I would want to have a healthy, very public debate, wouldn't you?
Well, and I asked the question, I didn't have an answer.
That is our timing.
Okay.
And if I could add, Bobby, that we're putting together a list of the wish list, if you want to call them, items for the budget. One of them was the referendum, or the
Yes,
home rule
that-
referendum.
That's why I put it up
Right.
a couple months ago.
Right, and
Yeah.
Vic's getting some, and we have, I think I've got 6 or 7 of those that we've talked about on the budget committee. They're gonna come in front of the board on the second meeting.
Well,
in-
yeah, but it's too late now, so it doesn't
Well,
matter.
it couldn't, yeah, it couldn't, but those will come up for the second meeting in January. All the wish list items for the budget the board will have a chance to say yay or nay.
Yeah, but
want
we
us-
missed this one.
Yes, we did,
Yes.
but,
We did miss.
But it's
Yeah.
good because there's a lot of independents who don't vote in the primary, so.
Well, that's true too. That's true. There are a multitude of issues. And the reason I asked a year ago was so we had time to discuss whether to do it, whether to not do it, how to inform the village, whatever.
November.
I think,
Any report, you good, or,
Yeah,
okay, trustee O'Connor,
no report.
trustee Tanucci,
I'll just reiterate something I brought up last year at this time, that I believe the holiday lights on the bridge look very nice. Coincidentally, there were also fewer crashes last year, I think you observed that, when the lights were on.
Just noticed it.
I would like to find some way to keep those lights on there
Yeah.
beyond the holiday season. I think it just really looks nice to have that bridge lit up at night. I'm not sure.
accidents at the
I don't know
Especially
who
if we
owns
could
those
change the
lights.
colors and make it novel, like here's there's a red in February and a green in
Yeah,
March.
exactly.
And it's
what we're
like,
gonna be done here now.
I'll tacky.
is this a budget
tacky?
request? Is this a
Yeah,
budget request?
I think novelty makes people look.
I think you should go talk to Ben Finch first.
Anything, well, he's moving, anything else?
No.
Okay, so, Art, do you have a report?
No, just please, if you have any questions, please contact me.
Okay, so, I'd like a motion to, go into executive session to discuss personnel matters. Okay, moved by trustee O'Connor, seconded by trustee O'Reilly. Who said it first? I heard it from both sides.
I thought
Oh, so it was you, okay, so second, it was, I don't know, who had it first, okay? O'Connor and Kritzmeyer. Yeah.
Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
Aye. Trustee Borowski. Trustee Neal. Trustee O'Reilly.
You drove.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Good night, Jeff.
Happy holidays,
All right, everyone, thank you.
Very quickly.
Whoops, I'm not gonna do it that way, I'll wait.
Dana left. Can we shut that camera down?
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So they come to me, I know, yeah, because I just, didn't know you.
All right.
Carmichael.
Oh.
So there now. Yeah, I mean, because I've been working on a lot of these things in the past.
Yeah.
So, because I didn't know you were gonna be doing it. I didn't know you guys were gonna be doing it, you know, those things now that you're kind of setting a trying to just like a bit more of a plan or something, you're gonna do what? I didn't know, so I've been working on it.
I'm still waiting for my computer. Got it. Okay, so we're now back in, regular session. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Moved by trustee O'Reilly, seconded by,
Somebody,
by trustee O'Connor. Roll call, or no, voice vote, all in favor? Aye. All right, meeting adjourned. Good night.
hey, have a
Thanks,
good
Rick.
holiday, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
You too, then.